Hello, everyone. My name is Charles McLaurin, and today I will be presenting a nonverbal communication experiment called Breaking the Rules. This experiment involved intentionally violating some of the common nonverbal communication norms and observing how people reacted. And in my case, it was my wife. So through this, I learned how important nonverbal cues are in our daily life interactions. So let's dive into it. Nonverbal communication plays a significant role in how we express ourselves, build relationships, and interpret messages. It includes body language, facial expressions, gestures, eye contact. So, in this experiment, I intentionally broke four specific rules and noted how people responded. In this case, my wife. The goal was to understand how nonverbal cues shape our interactions and what happens when we violate these unspoken rules. So, the four rules I chose to break are the following. Rule number one, not facing your body toward the speaker. Rule number two, avoiding eye contact during conversations. Rule number three, using closed off or neutral facial expressions regardless of the context of the discussion. And rule number four, making gestures or facial expressions indicates active listening. So the first rule I broke was not facing the speaker while having a conversation. Normally, turning towards someone shows attention and engagement. However, in my experiment, I purposely faced away from my wife during engagement. The effect seemed unsure if I was paying attention. She seemed unsure if I was paying attention. She hesitated more in her responses, and the conversations felt a little disconnected. This shows how crucial body orientation is in creating a sense of engagement during a conversation. For the next rule, rule number two, avoiding making eye contact during conversations with her. So, eye contact is an important part of communication as it signals attention, confidence, and a connection with the other person you're communicating with. So when I broke this rule, my wife appeared uncomfortable and disengaged. She even glanced around the room a couple of times to see if she had noticed something going on in the room that I was giving attention to. So this reaction highlights how maintaining eye contact fosters trust and having effective communication or conversation. So rule number three was neutral facial expressions. And for this rule, I kept a natural or closed off facial expression. Regardless of what we were talking about, normally our facial expressions reflect emotions or help guide conversations. When I showed no reaction, my wife seemed confused and unsure about how to respond. She kept asking if something was wrong with me. This demonstrated how important facial expressions are in setting the tone of our interactions. And so, for my final rule of lack of active listening cues, I refrained from making gestures or facial expressions that indicated that I was actually listening to her. So I cut off nodding, leaning in, or making small verbal affirmations like okay, or uh, giving her a head nod, or things of that such. The results of my wife seemed less motivated to continue conversations with me, and the interactions felt awkward at times. This experiment reinforced that active listening causes needs encouragement and engagement in a natural flow for a discussion to continue on and not be awkward. So we may ask ourselves, why do these rules matter? Conversational norms, structure, and interactions help maintain social cohesion. When we follow these nonverbal rules, and communication becomes clearer, engaging, and more effective. Breaking them can cause confusion, discomfort, and a misunderstanding, as explained in the experiment. These norms shape our social interactions and influence how we connect with each other. From a Christian perspective, many controversial norms align with biblical principles like kindness, respect, attentiveness. So, for example, Proverbs 18:13 warns us against answering before listening. It's emphasizing the value of being fully present in the conversation. So, however, some cultural norms may contradict some of the Christian values. In some cases, social norms prioritize status, power, or superficially over truth and love. As Christians, we must navigate these norms while staying faithful to biblical principles. So at times, societal expectations can clash with some of the teachings in the Bible. So, for instance, some of the cultural norms may encourage politeness instead of honesty, such as Ephesians 4:15 calls us to speak the truth in love, which means balancing grace and truth, even if it goes against the norms of society. This raises an important question: how can we engage in respectful, effective communication while staying true to our faith? It's something we should always reflect on as we interact with others. Thank you.